Well, what's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today for Not a Be It Far. Just a fun little video I wanted to do, just discussing every NHL team that there's ever been in this league. So what I have in front of me is a West and an Eastern Conference, 3 divisions of 8, so that's 48 teams, as you can see by the giant 48 up there, as well as some excluded teams down here. There have been 51 NHL teams in the history of the NHL since they kicked Eddie Livingstone out of the NHA and just made their own league. But that's not the point. Point is, this is what would happen. This is the league if no team ever folds. Relocations still do happen, but like there's still a team in the original space. Essentially, every team that's ever existed is here. The only 3 that I'm not including, it's 48, not 51 for a reason. The Atlanta Flames, we already have the Calgary Flames, so that really doesn't work, and I'm not going to put 2 teams in Atlanta and not 1 team in Calgary, so it makes more sense just to do the Calgary Flames. Winnipeg Jets, we already have a Winnipeg Jets, no need to put another Winnipeg Jets in. Ottawa Senators, same case. As well as I'll put an asterisk for the Toronto Arenas or St. Pat's. Those are still the Toronto Maple Leafs, and so I just included them all with the Toronto Maple Leafs. If I was doing name changes, then I'd have a Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. I'd have a Chicago Blackhawks separated. I'd have a Detroit Falcons, a Detroit Cougars, and so I'm not including name changes. Name changes just overall, unless it's like full like relocation name change. Like for example, I need an example here. Like, okay, my mind just kind of disappeared real quick. I don't really know how to explain it. But anyway, so we got 48 teams here. I just want to go through these just to show like all the former teams in the league and what we could have had if we could have had a 48 team league by now if no if relocations do happen but teams still stay in their exact spot. But so this is essentially a fantasy world where things can't really happen, and we're just going to take a look at what they could. So in the Pacific Division, we'd have four California teams. We'd have the Ducks, we'd have the California or Oakland Seals, depending on which one you want to call them, the LA Kings and the San Jose Sharks, along with the Arizona Coyotes, the Seattle Kraken, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Vancouver Canucks. That would be your Pacific Division right there. I call this division the Mountain Division based on most of the teams are Mountain Time. Not all of them, but a bunch of them are. Got the Calgary Flames, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Colorado Rockies. The Edmonton Oilers, the Dallas Stars, and the Minnesota North Stars. That one I was iffy on if I was going to add because North Stars and Stars are very close to each other, but I thought, why not? I'll add them both. So then we have the Minnesota Wild, so you have 2 teams in Minnesota, 2 teams in Colorado, as well as the Winnipeg Jets get put into the Mountain as well. In the Central Division, we have the Chicago Blackhawks, the Cleveland Barons, so you have 2 teams in Ohio. Columbus Blue Jackets with that, the Detroit Red Wings, the Kansas City Scouts, the Nashville Predators, the St. Louis Blues, so 2 teams in Missouri, St. Louis Eagles, 3 teams in Missouri. That's how you know this would never happen. Missouri would not be able to have 3 teams. Minnesota, I can understand maybe 1 in St. Paul and 1 in Minneapolis. Like the North Stars, I know we're based in Minneapolis, a suburb of there, while St. Paul housed the Wild. But like kind of like Colorado, Denver's not holding both the Rockies and the Avalanche. So as you can see, it's a fun fantasy world if the population is unlimited. And now moving to the Eastern Conference, the Atlanta Thrashers, obviously, the Boston Bruins, Buffalo Sabres, Carolina Hurricanes, Florida Panthers, Hartford Whalers, Tampa Bay Lightning, and Washington Capitals. Bit of realignment here, as some of these teams are in the Metropolitan. I don't understand some of the alignment choices made by the NHL when the Metropolitan. I'm not sure why Carolina is in the Metropolitan when they're literally like right on the ocean, but on the Atlantic Ocean. But teams like Toronto, don't ask me how they're in the Atlantic Division, not in the Metro. Don't ask me that. But like all these teams, I think are good on their. Buffalo's the only one that's kind of Metro, but we'll allow it because Boston, Buffalo makes sense. Now we have the Canadian division that is just all Canadian teams. Hamilton Tigers, Montreal Canadiens, Montreal Wanderers, Montreal Maroons, the Ottawa Senators, the Quebec Nordiques, the Quebec Bulldogs, the Toronto Maple Leafs. So you have 5 teams in Quebec. I'm sure Montreal, any person in Quebec right now is jumping up in the air screaming, yes please. But they have one team in Quebec and they're hesitant to put a second in. If you think 5 teams are going to work, well, then this is why it's a what if. But yeah, this is going to go into the what if playlist. I've decided. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, the Canadian division, just all Canadian-based teams, and then we go to the Metropolitan, where we have the New York or Brooklyn Americans, depending which one you want to call them. New York Islanders on Long Island, so that works. The New York Rangers are based in Manhattan, so you have a team in Brooklyn, you have a team in Long Island, a team in Manhattan. That could work. The New Jersey Devils, Philadelphia Flyers, Philadelphia Quakers, Pittsburgh Pirates, and Pittsburgh Penguins. 2 teams in Philly and 2 teams in Pittsburgh. Not sure if that would work, but, just a cool little scenario here. If, what if every NHL team still existed today that ever had existed? But yeah, that's going to be all I have for you guys in this one. Just a quick little video on something I just found a little interesting, and just a little video I wanted to do for fun. But that's going to be all I have for you guys in this one. Leave your thoughts down below of which teams would you like to see come back, which teams would you like to have seen played, which teams do you think could actually work if they were to come back around today. We know the Nordiques are going to be an obvious answer, and probably the Thrashers. But yeah, so tell me down below your thoughts, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Blackhawks game tonight, 7:30 against Winnipeg. Have a good night.